Hi there, and welcome to my studio. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to print on Bisque using Amaco's new ceramic printing ink. As many of you know, I love printing on moist slabs, but it's very different printing on Bisque. I'm going to show you how to use things like these simple stencils, don't even need to make a silk screen, and use those simple stencils to then stencil onto Bisqueware using Amaco's new ceramic inks. So let's get started. The first thing that we want to do is collect our supplies. So we're going to use the ceramic printing inks by Amaco. I like to separate or sometimes organize my inks by the warm colors and the cool colors. I don't always print that way, but sometimes that helps me. Then I need to have some stencils. These are prefab stencils that you can buy from any hobby store. Sometimes I use one stencil like this to create a tile that looks like this, or the one I showed you before where I use this stencil to create this Bisque tile. Sometimes I like to use a variety of stencils. So I might get ones that are backgrounds like this and then overlap these on top so that I can combine images. As I said, you can buy these at any hobby store, but the other thing that you can buy at a hobby store is stencil material. And I buy this and then I put it on my Silhouette Cameo die cut machine, and I sometimes die cut my own stencils. A more individual look than using commercial stencils. You need something to apply the ink with, and these are the tools that I'm going to use. It ranges everything from a simple pottery sponge that I cut into quarters, or these little sponge on a stick. I have to say, I do modify these a little bit. And the way I do it is I cut off some of the end because otherwise this is too much sponge and it's real wobbly like that. And the other thing that I do is you can notice here I've kind of tapered this and cut some off. So I'll take my scissors and I just come in here and I cut a little off. Seems to have a little less wobble and helps me in the application. And of course, these come in different sizes, and you can find those at a hobby store. The other thing that I use are these stencil brushes. They work pretty good. They come in a variety of sizes. They're fairly cheap, but if I don't want to buy those, I buy a utility brush from Home Depot that has these stiff bristles, and I take my scissors and I cut the bristles shorter. That way they have the same feel as a stencil brush. So we're going to use both of these in our project. Last but not least, we need to have something to stencil on. We're going to use these low fire tiles. The inks fire from low fire to high fire, and it really depends on the clay that you're using and then the glaze that you use over that. I did these on a low fire clay, and then I put a low fire glaze on top of it. So you could put a clear glaze like I did here, or you could also put a celadon glaze if you're firing at cone 6. These work beautifully at cone 6, and then you can put a celadon glaze, which a celadon glaze will give you just a little bit more color. So we're going to get started with this stencil on the tile. But I had a little bump in the road, and I'm going to show you what happened to me, and just in case it happens to you. I take the little sponge applicator and I'm going to dip it in that turquoise, and you only need just a little bit of turquoise. I'm going to just scrub it onto the surface. You don't want to add so much that it kind of creeps under your stencil. Now I want to add a different color down here. So I can hold this with my hand here and I won't mess anything up. So I think I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, because then that way I'll get kind of a chartreusey green as they mix. And I love mixing the inks. So we're going to go in here, mix these colors together a little bit. And We're going to peel that off. And look at how beautifully that prints. This is what you need to watch for, quite frankly. You'll notice in the samples I showed you here, those edges are so crisp and clean. Although the colors are beautiful, if I bring it up, you can see that some of the edges, especially right here, have a little bit of bleed. And this is what I found out yesterday when I was preparing for the video. Sometimes the ink started to creep under my stencil. So here I got this beautiful crisp print, which is what I'm looking for. And here it worked pretty good, but here, this to me is a no-go. It also happened on this one where I decided to overlap. I did a background in this, but if you notice in the flower, it tended to creep under the stencils. I'm going to show you why this happens and how to resolve it. These are brand new inks and they're a little bit wet. You have to remember when you're using Amaco Ceramic Printing Inks, it's not like speedball inks. So, they manufacture for printing on paper. What happens is they have different viscosities or thickness and thinness of the inks. For instance, a silk screen ink is really liquid, so you can pour it into a screen. But a block printing ink is really thick and pasty so that you can roll it onto a printing plate. On the ceramic printing inks, you don't have that luxury of having that wide variety of inks. So what do? These I found right out of the jar on this batch were a little bit wet for my liking, and I didn't like the way they ended up creeping under the stencil. Last night, I put a little blop of ink on this paper plate just so that it could dry up a little bit. Now, this is a very common thing with the inks, and this is in your studio. You have to figure out how can you resolve this, because you might want a really thick and pasty ink for block printing, and you might want a thinner ink for something else. And I am always working with these inks. So this is what I do. Step one, when I go to print, I open the jar and I stir it up. Not that everything isn't in suspension, because it is, but I just want to get a feel for what I'm looking at. And I stir it up to see how moist it is. For my printing purposes, for the most part, to me, this is a little bit moist. So what I do is sometimes I'll leave the lid off and just let it dry up a little bit. But let's say I'm in a hurry. If I wait for this to evaporate a little bit, just slightly, I live in Florida where it's very humid, and this may take a while. So that's why I took and put a little glop on this paper plate, aka a palette, so that they could dry up a little bit. Let's say I get busy and, oh my gosh, I let the inks dry out too long. There's no binder in them, so you can't mess up and let them dry too much. All you have to do is to take a mist bottle with some distilled water and just mist them a little bit to bring them back. So the long and the short of this is, if you think your inks are wetter than what you want, like if I'm printing on a wet slab, I might want thicker inks. I let them sit out a little bit. And if they are too stiff for what I want, all you have to do is add distilled water. It's really easy. So now that I've let these sit out, we're going to try those on our tile and see if that helped a little bit. When you use these sponges, if you decide you want to change colors and you wash this out, you do not want to use a wet sponge. So I put them out last night. I let them sit out a little bit. I just want to kind of mix them up. They're the same consistency. And see, I already like them a lot better. They're a little bit more pasty. See how they look more pasty and thick? Ooh, that's how I like them. Sometimes you want them a little thin for what you're doing, and we'll be talking about in other projects. Now, I'm talking specifically for this project. And I do love to combine images, so we're going to put this other stencil on here. We're going to start with some yellow. And if I wanted to be careful and I didn't want my sponge to go over the edge, I could add a little piece of tape there to give me a little bit more room to work. Okay, let's go with some orange down here. And again, you can see how thick those are. Just in one night, they've kind of firmed up a little bit. I love that I can make them thinner and thicker. And I love the way the colors combine. That's where you get the good stuff. Now we'll pull that off. Now, look at how crisp. See how crisp all those edges are? This is what you're looking for. This is where we had it a little bit too liquid. But just by letting them sit overnight, you can get this nice, clean, crisp edge. And look at how beautiful. Remember that you can combine images, so we can take this image and print it over here. We're going to use a stencil brush this time, and we're going to take some of the red. Again, nice and thick. Ooh, that's how we like it. Remember, you're not stenciling like this with the sponge or the stencil brush. It's going to be more that you're just kind of applying it almost like you would with a regular paintbrush. And if your inks are pretty thick and sticky, they won't creep. And that's what you don't want. And you want a thick application on there anyway. Again, you can hold your stencils with your fingers. It's not going to matter. Now, I do have to tell you, you got to stencil on a smooth surface. If you're stenciling on a piece of pottery, a slab pot would be good, but anything that is really flat will work with this. There's a couple other ways that you can stencil on Bisque, and we'll address those later, but this is what we're doing today. So let's take a little bit of the yellow and put that in there so we'll get a little orange. I think I'd like to pick up a little of that orange. And I want to smear it into the red because that's where art lives. And we'll pull that off. Because they're pretty opaque, you can print one image over another and you can combine the image. And we're going to show you some other samples about that. So, what have we learned today about stenciling on Bisqueware with Amaco Ceramic Ink? One of the things that we learned is when you get the inks and when you choose your printmaking process, stir it up and see how thin or thick your inks are to suit the way you print. It's hard to get one ink to do a number of different things, but you can make this ink do anything that you want in printmaking. So, for instance, things like jelly art prints or linoleum cuts, block prints, anything like that, I like it really thick and pasty. I also like it thick and pasty when I'm silk screening onto moist slabs because the moist slabs are not going to take anything away. And if I use something kind of thin, it's like painting on a wet sponge. It just doesn't work as well. So if you're doing another process that you need a little more liquid in this, like let's say you're working on bisque and the bisque is way thirsty and it's like not working for you and you need some moisture, don't hesitate to add a little distilled water. If you add too much, don't worry about it. Let it evaporate off. Too dry, add some water. If it's too wet, leave it uncovered or put a little bit on a paper plate palette. And then when I'm done with this, all I have to do is put it back in the container. Remember that all the colors blend like paints. This is where you'll get some beautiful results. Do not be concerned about combining the colors because they will look even more beautiful than sometimes they do by themselves. Another thing is what you see is what you get, which I love. If you've used turquoise or yellow and you've combined them and they become the chartreuse, that's what you'll see. So they fire from cone 05, low fire, to cone 10. They will go any temperature that your clay will go. So you select your clay, you print on it, you fire it at that temperature, put a clear glaze on it, and oh, you will be stencil-a-rama. Go stencil away, and I will see you next time.